queue up with that ideology that the Prime Minister is not being respected. Because if we go down memory lane, what happened during the major national dialogue of 2019, when the Prime Minister came out with, an agenda. He said every topic is supposed to be discussed during this major national dialogue. But we had the Minat who came out publicly and said that it's a taboo, it's forbidden for the form of the state to be spoken during this major national dialogue. So you see that the powers and the respect of our Prime Minister is not re-exercised. So I queue up with that. Now we're talking about canvassing votes for an anglophone president. It's not a bad idea, but we need to understand that the anglophone problem is not a socio-political problem, as many people have termed it to be. I tell you, it's a historical problem, because if we must try, to resolve this problem, you cannot say you want to solve a problem by cutting the branches and you're forgetting the roots. If you must kill a productive tree, you must start by digging to the roots, and that is why we're here today, to go back to history. It is a historical problem that didn't start in 2016, as so many people may say. It is a historical problem that dated since before we had the reunification. We saw what happened when John Gufoncha had to lure the English-speaking Cameroonians into a marriage with a marriage certificate, which I call, the Constitution of 1961. That Constitution of the federal state, the two-state federation. We had the West and the East. That is the problem. It is a historical problem, and we must go back through memory lane to solve a problem, because all what we are having, people will talk, people will bring out like what happened during the major national dialogue, which I term a monologue. Because you cannot organize something telling the world that it is a dialogue, but you don't accept the second party to air out his mind. So you see, all of the recommendations of the major national dialogue is a failure, because we still have these two restive areas being attacked and we're still having wars. So we must go back to our roots. We need to teach people what they don't know, so that they will understand the traceability and all what we are facing today. So we need to go back. And a lot of people will say President Biya inherited of a country that was already at war. Mr. Big Ben, President Biya came into power in 1962. He worked with the Aijo government. He was with Aijo. And he was the secret keeper of the presidency. So everything that went wrong, President Biya is a part of it. Because when you talk to most of these, regime barons, they will tell you President Biya just inherited from a country that was already at war. No. If you go back memory, we are working with our third constitution, Mr. Big Ben. The 1960 constitution, when the French Cameroon had to have their independence from the French. 1961, when we had that marriage. 1972, amended by Aijo twice. Biya amended his own. In 1984, when he became president, he changed everything, amended Article 1, 5, and 7. So this is a historical problem that needs to go back to our problematics. What went wrong? Who did what? And how are we going to amend this? Because saying that we are canvassing votes for an anglophone president, who will be that anglophone president? Who is ready to take that? I heard one panelist talk about the charisma of Major Fonje from the SDF. We all know what happened in 1992. We all know what happened. Today, we are still walking up and down. The regime has been there 60 years of failure. Nothing has been done. We have two restive zones. Nobody is doing anything. Everybody is using this as a source of avarice. That is why I will keep telling people, Mr. Big Ben, this is a historical problem. And if we must canvass votes for an anglophone president, we must first of all solve what went wrong. But John Gufoncha lured us into a marriage. 1961 constitution. It was changed 1972. And Biya came and amended all this constitution. And today, the anglophones are considered as subordinate. Meanwhile, when we came to this marriage in 1962, we came as two equal states. We came as two equal states with equal rights. A lot of people have used this and called it a socio-political problem. Mr. Big Ben, it is not a social problem, because the recommendations of the major national dialogue is a failure. It is a political problem.
The recommendations of the major national dialogue, which was uh, masterminded by the Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute. We cannot say it's a failure because most of some of the recommendations are already being put in place. And
then let me answer you, please.
yeah, the question is quite direct. Is there a possibility of an anglophone problem? We're looking at solutions to resolve the crisis.
We cannot look for solutions when we don't know the
What we're looking at is the possibility of having an anglophone president. Can an anglophone president be able to resolve that crisis?
Let me answer you.
Maybe their own approach.
Mr. Big Ben, we cannot bring a solution without getting the cause of the problem. When I started talking, I told you of the roots that needs to be done. When you said that the major national dialogue and some of its recommendations are a success, Mr. Big Ben, what's happening in Bamenda? Recently people died. People were killed. If the recommendations of the major national dialogue was effective, Mr. Big Ben, we won't have this problem entering the 7th year. Now, the possibility of having an anglophone problem, I said, is not to be disregarded. But the problem is, who is that figure who will have that charisma of the Ninjan Fundi in his early years when he was still very strong? Who has that charisma? People will talk about, Sisiko Ayoktabe and others. For me, I do not believe so much in that. I believe of a president who has a national interest. Because when you talk, Mr. Big Ben, let me land. When you talk of an anglophone president, what do you mean? You speak in English? We have a lot of French-speaking Cameroonians who have adopted the Anglo-Saxon education and they call themselves Anglophones. Who is an Anglophone? I believe in a president who has national interests, who loves Cameroonians and wants Cameroon to change. Because if you get a figure like an Anglophone president and he doesn't love Cameroon, Cameroon will still be in the trouble we are having.
All right, we got you, Nadia.
Who is an Anglophone? Who is an Anglophone? You see the question. The question, some people they don't answer the question for way. When you say you look am, you go talk say, chai, what will do the people then? Because according to some La Republic people them, Anglophone are man they talk English. Now why that way Isa Cheruma we talk say he picking an Anglophone them because they don't go school for our own system of education and they talk English very well. Don't be the problem that Anglophone are people they get identity. We are talking about the identity of a people. Identity. This is very important, my dear Amazonians. Identity of a people. Very important thing. Identity. That is exactly what we are talking about. The woman don't try for elaborate, try for talk this, try for talk that. But I think say this so on a scale, we give her a pass mark for her articulation. That's the truth. That's the truth. What I want to talk about now they want to be president, they say they be Anglophone on a waiting. Now their problem. Amazonian struggle no be about president for La Republique. If in La Republique like they go take na French man be their president and their problem. They like they go take na Spanish man be their president and their problem. If they like they can't take na one of we me be their president, not their problem. We don't care. We get a root cause of a problem, of a war. Where they inside. I think say the woman don't over talk. I don't need for even over elaborate more on these things then. But when I know say this so we will be a people. We existed as a country, right? We be manage our own affairs then. But they can't fall one hand. When funcha them, they go with joint for Aijo. Say me they live together with equal status. Today they tell we say they want give you special status. It correct? Will be equal, but they tell we say they give you special status. Anyhow, I believe say this video be very educative. It will help black leg them, La Republic agent them, and other people them. Me they really get this information. When I share them as far as I share them, God bless you, God bless Amazonia, and God bless this woman for this genuine talk way he talk and so. There is a problem. This problem is not socio-political. This problem is a historical problem. Historical problem. Watch that video again. You thank me later. Thank you very much.